there, you're listening to the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I'm your host and midlife warrior, Heike Yates. And on this show, we're talking about fitness, nutrition, and mindset strategies for women in midlife. Plus, our fierce guests on the show share their stories to help you reclaim your power to spark an authentic life. Well, hello there, Heike Yates here, and welcome to another episode of the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I hope you have the most amazing day, and I want to say thank you for being here on the show with me today. If you have been listening for a while, please go to the Apple Podcast, the link will be in the show note, and leave a review. Also, if you are new to fitness or you are the woman who wants to tune up her fitness lifestyle, then I got the guide for you. My free 5-Spark Lifestyle Guide is for the woman who's ready to start living a healthier and fitter lifestyle. I also will put a link in the show notes for you so you can grab your free guide and get started right away. And fit, strong, and healthy is our topic for today's show. I remember when I grew up back in Germany, my parents were not very active. Most of the time, pretty much everybody, was smoking and sitting around. People had parties, and there was just more of this passive than an active lifestyle happening. And that also translated into my childhood, where we did very little to stay fit and active. Of course, we kids were always encouraged to go outside and play. And I grew up in the country for most of my life, so I had a lot of, and I know my friends, and even my husband makes fun of me sometimes, that I would run after the tractors and help on the farm, pick potatoes and look for eggs. So that was my activity. But that from my parents, not so much. But now that we all live longer, it is vitally important that we stay fit, strong, and healthy in midlife. And I taught this to my kids as I raised my kids, that exercise and healthy eating strategies are the way to have a better and healthier and happier life. Because our life expectancy is rising for us, called boomers. So we all got a name, we're boomers. But those extra years living longer, I learned are spent sometimes in not such good health. For instance, about 75% of middle-aged men and 2/3 of middle-aged women are overweight or obese because of a poor diet and lack of exercise. And according to a report of aging in the United States, they examine recent trends and disparities among adults ages 65 and older, and how baby boomers will reshape America's older population. In 2016, so that is, we're in 2020 now, that's 4 years ago, baby boomers were to be expected to be between the ages of 52 and 70. So already 4 years older than in previous years examined. The report also points out that the number of Americans ages 65 and older is on the course to more than double, from 46 million today to over 98 million by 2060. While the 65 and older age groups share the total population will rise to nearly 24% from 15%. So we grow in population because we live longer, but we also need to take care of our health and our fitness, because I am no exclusion. I will be 59 by the time the podcast airs, just about 59 years old, and I have been very active since my 30s. When I raised my kids, I became a bodybuilder, and then I ran ultra marathons and finally became an Ironman. And I can tell that I'm getting older despite my healthy lifestyle. Sometimes my back hurts, or my knees are just not so good after a long run. Or sometimes, especially after menopause, I don't feel I can push as hard. I don't have quite enough stamina sometimes. And I'm trying, but my body is saying, girl, you're getting older. You got to slow down a little bit. And as many women, and you I know can relate to that, is you feel like you're not as fit as you're used to be. Despite all your efforts, strength training and exercising, we also are dealing with what's called the midlife spread. And men and women have it, but women tend to talk more about the midlife spread. The clothes are getting getting more tight, and we get less tight around the middle. And it's all because of our hormone changes and the midlife change. So we have to deal with these age-related changes, but also with things that are much more severe, like breast cancer, osteoporosis, diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, dementia, and depression. And all of these are real side effects of aging. So let's take care of our bodies, our minds, through exercise, nutrition, and a positive community to help offset some of those side effects. Now, there's so many benefits of staying fit, strong, and healthy in midlife. I have only a few listed for you, and I know you can relate to these. Number one is keeping up with your kids and grandkids. I'm a young mom, and so when I was in my 30s and 40s, my kids and I ran together. We exercised together. We participated in races together. And it was so much fun to be able to keep up with them and have such a good time. And as I got older and they got older and they moved away, we see each other less, but still we run races together if we can, or we just go for a run together. Especially my son and I love to do that. It's a great time to catch up on conversations and life. Whereas my daughter and I, we go for walks. Her knees are not so great, but may as it be, whether it's your kids or if you're an older parent that already has grandkids, you want to keep up with those guys. You want to say, yeah, I'm going to go with you. I can do more than I did the week before because I focused on my strength and my health. And number two is do the things you love doing. In your mind, I want you to think, what is the number one thing you love doing? Well, in my mind, it is, aside from exercise, it is traveling. When I think of our trip to Machu Picchu, we climbed up the stairs to Machu Picchu to see the sunrise at Machu Picchu. So we're in Peru and we're climbing up these stairs. And I thought I was fit, but it was tough because one stair was big, one stair was small, and then the altitude. It was quite challenging, and it was a 3-day trek with a bunch of other people. We had some Sherpas who carried, thank goodness, our food in the tent, but we still had to make the trek on our own. So number two is do the things you love doing. Number three is stronger muscles enable you to do everyday things. And I couldn't think of a better example than the grocery store. Lifting the groceries on the conveyor belt or packing them in the bag and then taking those grocery bags, lifting them up into the car and then back out of the car into the house. I think this is the most obvious example, other than gardening, which I love to do too. Gardening is a great way to get stronger muscles and get stronger overall. Stronger grip strength. As we're aging, we're losing grip strength and forearm strength. So things that you need to do and you fill the blank, what your thing is that you do every day and you need stronger muscles. Number 4 is keep a healthy weight. It is not true that all women gain weight in menopause. It is true, though, that our hormones change and that because of hormone-related changes, we get less elastic skin and that our metabolism slows down. But through exercise and healthy nutrition, we can combat that middle age spread or that weight gain. Men have it too. They just gain the love handles, or they get a little bit of a bigger gut or a much bigger gut depending on the person. But we can avoid that or at least slow that down quite a lot by applying healthy principles. Number 5 is improve bone density. The big word here is osteoporosis. Yes, diet and exercise is a way to slow down or stop osteoporosis. So that's a huge benefit of a healthy lifestyle. And number 6, stay mentally active. Meaning stop sitting at home doing nothing, thinking you have retired now, or the kids have moved out, you're an empty nester, and there's nothing more to do. Connect with others and connect with people that are active, that things that you like to do, that you stay on top of your game despite getting older. And I am working with a gentleman who's in person, who's 94 years old. And yes, he has all age-related issues. Eyes and hearing and walking is difficult and posture is difficult. But he is sharp as a whip. He can recall incidents from back in the 1940s that he did. Or he tells me about facts that I had no idea that were facts. And he says, back in 1923 and 43, this and that happened. And he keeps himself mentally active by doing Sudoku. That's his thing. But mentally active is very important in addition to health and exercise. So what are the main components to a healthy lifestyle? Cardio, strength, flexibility, and a community. So these are the main buckets of your healthy lifestyle. And I will go in a little bit more detail into each one of them. We need to exercise 3 to 5 times per week, including strength training and cardio. The American Heart Association says 150 minutes per week, but that is barely scratching the surface when you're in midlife. So number 1 is our cardio, and that is walking. So cardio is anything where you elevate your heart rate and you start sweating and you start breathing a little bit heavier. That is what is called cardio or cardiovascular fitness. And I use as an example walking. You could run, you could do biking. I did Zumba the other day. So I was at a health fair and they offered a Zumba class, and I jumped in and I Zumba'd along and danced along with the other participants and the instructors. My heart rate really increased and I started to perspire. It was on top of that, it was a lot of fun. So think about what activities that you like and can do that you can do 30 to 40 minutes 2 to 3 times a week. I would probably say I would rather have you do it 4 to 5 times a week, but I'm happy if you go for 2 to 3 times a week of cardiovascular fitness. You can put on one of those wearables and track walking distance, some measure the heart rate. There's all kinds of gadgets that you can use to measure how hard you work. But a simple guideline is if you exercise so hard that you cannot talk, so like you would run next to me and we're striking up a conversation and you would go like this and you couldn't talk to me, that would be too hard. So that should be that you will take deep breath, but you could have a continuous conversation with me. So there should be some effort in it. Number 2 is strength training. Now, strength training, oftentimes people get confused. What is strength training? Strength training is, simply put, putting a muscle against resistance. And if you think about a bicep curl, that is, your arm hangs by your side and you make a fist and you curl the arm up or the hand up towards your shoulder and down. So the hand hangs by your side, you make a fist, and you bring the hand towards your shoulder. This is called a bicep curl. If I give you a weight, a 2 or 3 or whatever the number is, pound of weight, and you bring the weight up and down, this is considered strength training. So is the same thing with the Dynabands or stretchy bands that we oftentimes see or get from the physical therapist. This is, again, strength training. And lifting against resistance, which the weight or the band creates. Or, for instance, a good example is also doing a push-up. An all-time non-favorite from anybody that I offer a push-up to. Everybody's like, no, Heike, I do not want to do a push-up. So where you're on all fours, on your knees or your toes, and you bend and straighten your arms. This is also considered strength training, but strength training with your own body weight. So picking any of those weights, bands, body weight exercises, incorporate strength training into your fitness program at least 2 and hopefully 3 times a week. And you don't have to go for hours. If you do a 30-minute strength training session, it will be plenty, hitting all the major muscle groups. And I have an array of videos on the Pursue Your Spark on YouTube. And I'll leave a link in the show notes so you can click there and find the workout that is right for you and that appeals to you with a ball or with your own body weight, with Pilates. I have a big variety of exercises for you. And lately I started a 3-minute workout, only 3 minutes, and you're basically done. 3 exercises done in 3 minutes, or 5 exercises done in 3 minutes. I leave a link in the show notes so you can start strength training. Number 3 is Pilates. You know that I'm a huge fan of Pilates, and everybody I work with, whether in person or in any of my programs, is practicing Pilates. As we age, we lose our posture, we lose our alignment. And Pilates is a game changer when it comes to your posture, your balance, and your lean muscle mass. Pilates can be done on machines, as we call in Pilates, equipment, and the equipment provides springs, very much like the bands that I mentioned earlier. And these bands or these springs provide similar benefits than the strength training with bands has. So constant resistance, it strengthens the muscle, but it also leans out the muscle. And so through Pilates with the machines, or there's what's called the Pilates mat work, and there are 34 exercises designed by their inventor, Joseph Pilates, that are done without any equipment at all. So I highly recommend Pilates for improved posture. Breathing is a huge part of the Pilates training, and so many benefit from improving their lung capacity and breathe properly. Gaining balance through the various exercises that are done standing, seated, or lying down, or on all fours, and creating a lean, long muscle. So Pilates is definitely one of the things that I highly recommend. Number 4 is balance training. It's also known as functional training. So why do we need balance training? As we get older, we lose balance because we hear less and we see less. And our proprioception decreases as we age. So we're no longer sure how high we should lift the foot when we step over a curb, or that we can't see something that's in front of us And so we trip and fall. So falls are a big problem as we get older. Balance training is something like stand on one foot and lift the other leg off the ground. And try to stand still on that one leg without too much arm movement around and without arms out to the side or ruddering the arms. Just very simple. Stay in place for 1 minute. That's the goal. If you get 10 seconds, yes. If you get 20, yes. Go for as long as you can go and repeat that on both legs. And that is a fantastic start for balance training. And there's so much variety. Again, I will leave the link for my videos in the show notes so you can start right away with your balance training. Number 5 is maintain a healthy diet. Over the years as a trainer, I've seen this over and over again. As we get older, we are less aware of what we're eating, how much we're eating, or the lack thereof. And our taste buds also change as we get older, so we might not find the food as tasty as we have in the past. But I have some tips for you right here of how you can maintain a healthy diet. And number 1 here is eat more protein to build muscle. No protein, no muscles. So we need to fuel our body to build those muscles. And for a woman that weighs about 150 pounds, she needs about 55 grams of protein to reach her minimum goal of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, I know, or I've heard, and I was told, it is so hard to get protein in. We have the fish, we have the eggs, we have the chicken, we have the turkey, we have quinoa, we have beans. We also have protein shakes. If you can't eat more, make yourself a delicious protein shake. And I have a recipe for a super shake that I make that is so delicious. And I will put a link in the show notes for you so you can watch that video on how to make my super shake. But eat more protein is definitely super important. And the next is boost your calcium. As women, as I just mentioned earlier, we dealing with osteoporosis, and we definitely need more calcium in our bodies. And if you've been to the doctor and you were diagnosed with osteoporosis, you may already be on some supplements, but bone up, so to speak, on milk and salmon are 2 of my calcium boosting secrets. Next up is healthy fats. I am a huge fan of healthy fats, in particular avocados. I love avocados. As many of you have listened to me before, I could live on avocados. So healthy fats like nuts, seeds, avocado oil, olive oil. It is super important to add those healthy fats in. 1 serving per day to reduce inflammation and heart disease. And also 1 serving per day had a lower risk of weight gain and obesity. And 1 serving is what? A tablespoonful, a half an avocado, a tablespoonful of olive oil, I should say, be more specific, 1/3 of a cup of seeds, 19 almonds, a half an avocado. So the serving sizes are not ginormous, but adding just 1 serving of avocado has lowered the risk of weight gain, obesity, reduced inflammation, and heart disease. What's there not to like about healthy fats? Next up is protecting your gut. And many women are suffering from a unhappy gut, let's call it that way. Our microbiome is made up of trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes. The gut microbiome plays a very important role in our health by helping control digestion and benefiting our immune system and other aspects of health. So how do we do that? We ditch the red meat, sodas, and refined foods, as like breads, muffins, croissants, anything, any baked and refined goods that are not part of a healthy diet and or are not whole grain. Ditch those because you need to protect your gut health. Have you considered intermittent fasting? If not, check out my 4-week lean out program where we incorporate intermittent fasting and I teach intermittent fasting from the ground up. Intermittent fasting has shown to decrease inflammation, promote weight loss, and boost testosterone. Now, as women, we don't have enough testosterone as we go through menopause. So here are the eat protein, boost your calcium, eat healthy fats, protect your gut by taking care of your microbiome, consider intermittent fasting. And finally, number 6 of our how to get stronger tips is a supportive community. It is so much more fun to be in a group of happy, healthy, and active people. And you may say, you know what? I'm by myself, I am single, and that's okay. You can join a club or you can join a walking group in your neighborhood. And I think maybe the church would be a good way to start. So think about communities in your area that you might like to be part of. A supportive community is huge. It contributes to our happiness and avoids loneliness from all the tips that I said earlier, from all the side effects that we may suffer as we get older. Many of you listeners are in perimenopause or menopause, and because of the loss of estrogen, we're prone to osteoporosis and also weight gain during menopause. And we can gain 1 pound per year in our late 40s and 50s when we're in perimenopause and menopause. Offset this decline by doing weight-bearing exercises, ladies, like running, weight training, ideally a combination of both. It has helped me keep my body fat at bay, helped me offset the weight gain, including with intermittent fasting, so I'm boosting my testosterone, and it helps me stay lean and strong. So definitely something to consider because we don't, and I said this earlier in the show, we do not need to gain the weight during menopause. Now, you say, Heike, this all sounds super awesome and this is great, but how do I get started if I've never exercised before? This can be a little scary, I admit. If you've never done anything like this before and you don't know where to start, let me tell you, it is never too late to start. So here are a few tips of how you can get started if you've never exercised before, or if you are a single entity and you don't have a partner to go with. You can join a gym. If you go to a gym, they give you an orientation, they show you around, and they show you all the equipment, and then they have usually somebody who sets up your first program that you can do. Now, you could also hire a trainer, just one-on-one. You could go to a gym or you go to your local community center and say, hey, I want somebody to show me how to do weights. And I'm sure they have somebody that works with you, that fits your style, that fits your preference, and they can show you and teach you how to lift weights, how to do your cardio, how to get better balance, and also get more flexible. They show you stretches. So it is a really good way to learn something that you don't know and get you started. You can also join an exercise class. Like I hopped into this Zumba class. Yes, given it was right in front of me, but there are classes in all kinds of community centers in your neighborhood. All you have to do is Google or check your neighborhood listserv and join a class. You may like it. You may not know what the class is, but it's okay. Go there, check it out, do the best you can. If you're the person who goes right when everybody goes left, well, at least give it a try. And as you keep going to these classes, you will make friends. You will exercise, you will have fun, and if it's a dance class, most women, and I am included, we love to dance. So a dance class may be just the ticket if you love to dance and you make new friends. And as I just mentioned, you can also go to your local listserv, like we have one in my neighborhood, and say, hey, I'm looking for a walking partner on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. Anybody interested to walk with me? Finding somebody that is going to be your walking partner. Or the simplest is to tag along with a friend that is already active. And they can help you say, hey, maybe a Zumba class is not for you, but this strength training class we're doing over at the community center, you may like that. So tag along with a friend that is already active. So as I said before, you can go to my YouTube channel for tips and ideas when it comes to a healthy and fit lifestyle. I have ideas for you on healthy eating, mindset strategies. I have videos for you to get started right away with your balance, your strength, your Pilates workout. If you've never done Pilates, you can join me there by watching a video and follow along with me. But I want to leave you with the thought of, yes, we're getting older, but that doesn't mean that we have to age like our parents did. Doing a little bit every day to prevent many of the onsets of aging helps by being fit and strong and healthy and doing a little bit of something, of cardio, of strength, of flexibility. Being part of a strong community makes such a difference in our lives. I want to know what you need the most help with. So please reach out to me on Instagram at Heike Yates or on Instagram, the Pursue Your Spark podcast, and links will be in the show notes. So all you do is click and you can chat with me right there. So I want to say thank you so much for being here and creating a healthy and fit midlife. Next time, our guest is Amanda Becker, and she has created a dream job out of her side business in skincare. And she is full of energy and excitement when she is talking about how she, despite being a almost stay-home mom with 2 kids, how she turned her life completely around. So with that, my friends, I'll see you next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Ciao.